Welcome to this month's edition of Tea Tasters. My name's Mark. Now this month on Tea Tasters we've got a really fantastic silver tip to take a look at. Now these are Indonesian silver tips. They're from the Dewata plantation, which is south of Bandung in Java. A plantation with a rich history going back to as early as the beginning of the 19th century. Now in the Pangalengan district, right next to the Gunung Tilu rainforest, this particular area of Java is very, very fertile and a brilliant place to grow tea. Having had the great fortune of spending some time in Indonesia, one thing that's really apparent is the biological diversity of this region of the world. You have everything from really tall volcanoes to lush rainforests and really fertile terraces for growing cash crops such as tea. Tea was introduced into Java in 1727, never really took a hold, but in 1824 tea from Japan was introduced and has flourished ever since. So tea in Indonesia is amazingly diverse as well. 50% of the tea grown in Indonesia grows between 800 and 1200 meters high, so produces tea all year round in this part of the world, but July through to September produces some really fantastic quality high elevation teas. Now like I say, it's a silver tip, so it's a very, very young unopened shoot from the very, very tip of the plant, so it commands a high price, and the flavors and aromas that you get from these good quality teas are absolutely amazing. Without much further ado, let's get and taste some of our Indonesian silver tips. So we've got our tea tasting crockery here with our serrated cup and lid. So I'm going to put one really good heaped teaspoon in there, and I mean really good. I like my tea a little bit stronger. I'm going to put a heaped teaspoon in there. Now my water, because this is such a delicate tea, I've actually poured this water about 4 or 5 minutes ago and allowed it to cool. So hopefully we've got a water temperature of around about 85 degrees. That's going to be really good for this tea. So we're looking at 2 to 3 grams of this tea, water temperature of about 85 degrees, and we're going to let that diffuse just for about 3 minutes. Any longer and I think it'll start to be a bit more powerful than maybe what it should be. Now if you're going to use a teapot at home, we've got our nice clear teapot here. We're going to use a heaped teaspoon. So this is a 6-cup pot, so I'm going to use 6 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, and I always like to put a bit more. 4, 5, 6, and 1 for good luck. Be nice and generous with this tea. And of course, if you're going to do as they might do in Indonesia or in China, is just take a pinch, 2 fingers and a thumb, and just drop that in the bottom of the cup. And again, you can just keep refilling this until the flavour is exhausted. A great way of drinking tea. I'm going to pour my water into the pot there. Our little tips here are from the very extremity of the bush. There's some evidence to suggest lots of vitamins and minerals and lots of nice stuff in these tips. Very, very tasty. So plucked very delicately from the bush. Now these can grow anything between every 14 to 28 days, depending on things such as total number of sunlight hours, elevation, rainfall, all those local climatic conditions. And of course, quite an expensive tea to purchase. Now, there are 2 types of white tea that we normally look at. One is the needle itself, and the other one is what we might call a peony, and that is that unopened tip and the very, very first leaf. So a needle or a tip and a peony. That's it, quite simple to be honest. And in most cases these have been left to dry or dehydrate just via the sun. So you get a very nice, fresh, crisp flavour. So 3 minutes has gone, and using our tea tasting crockery, pour that into the bowl. Now if you're going to continually refill up your glass and use this pinch of tea that you put in, probably do that for a good couple of hours. I do at home. So I just generally give it a little swirl to get the tea to hydrate and sink towards the bottom, and it just looks really attractive. And if you're lucky, you get to eat a piece of tea as well. So that's really cool. And of course, several things we look for when we're appreciating tea, and one of them is the clarity of the liquor or clarity of the infused tea, and this is absolutely sparkly bright, with no opaqueness to it at all. It's a really good quality tea from that perspective. And of course I'm just going to display the infused leaf. Oh yeah, a really summertime peachy aroma, really delicious. Let's have a quick taste. Yep, that's classic Silvertip. It's that nice peachy character I was telling you with, and it's kind of interlaced, or it has a hint of rose with it. So again, you see that beautiful bright colour in our teapot. I mean, who would not want to use a glass teapot to see such beauty? It really is fantastic. I've got my mugs here, and I was saying you can recharge your pot with hot water and get several pots from the same tea. It's a really good quality tea that we have for you this month. Spoiled for choice, so many ways to drink a fabulous tea. Well, this has been Indonesian Silvertips. Hope you've enjoyed Tea Tasters this month, and until next time, happy tea times. Cheers.